Hi you guys, welcome to Twisted Serenity with Mimi. Thanks for clicking on my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I created some rustic farmhouse Christmas decor. I had so much fun creating these and I hope I give you guys some inspiration. Now please subscribe to my channel so I could do what I love to do and continue to bring you guys content. Now sit back and relax and craft with me. Let's get started. Okay, so we're starting off with one of these like little trinket boxes that I picked up from Dollar Tree, of course, and I'm just going to sand off all that glitter and I'm going to paint this in white. I always paint the back. You don't have to. It really doesn't show, but I do always paint the back, so whatever I do to the front, I always do it to the back. While I was painting this, I noticed that the front was started to bubble, and that has never happened before. So I usually always leave the paper off, so I just peeled it right off and I just painted over the MDF part of the front of it, which I preferred that way better. And of course I'm making some farmhouse Christmas pieces, so I take my Waverly Antique chalk paint and I dry brush the whole entire little trinket box. So once I have it completely dry brushed and dried, of course, I take this SVG and that I printed out with my Cricut. And this was actually one piece, but I split it up into two different pieces. So I transferred this one on to the round side. Actually, you know, measure. I learned that while I was doing my Cricut. Measure everything. And I transfer this on. And then I take this little piece for the front side of it. And this, like I said, it was all one piece. And I transferred this on. The fir, pine, spruce, cedar part. It was all one SVG, but I split it into two. Now it was time to fill it up, so I took my Spanish moss and I just added some Spanish moss. And once I did that, I had these little Christmas tree that came in a pack from Dollar Tree, and they're the smallest ones that they do have. And I just placed them inside of our little box, and that was it. Look at how cute this is, you guys. Okay, so I have this little wood house cut out from Dollar Tree. I've been having this for a while. I haven't seen these in a long time. So if not, you could take any type of wood cutout that you guys do have. And I basically just gave it one coat of white paint. Once I let that paint dried, I grabbed my Waverly Antique Wax and I dry brushed this entire house. I shouldn't say this entire house, because once I painted white, I did leave the front side just in white. I didn't have to dry brush it. Once I did dry brush it with the antique wax, I wanted to give it like that different tone. So I grabbed my Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant and I dry brushed it with the color Elephant. Okay, so I have this ribbon. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's like birch ribbon, and this is not more like ribbon. It has like a paper feel to it. So I wanted to cover the front of the house with it, so I just measured it out and I cut it 2 pieces to fit the front of the house. I didn't make sure that I wanted to line it up exactly, because I didn't want it to look like two separate pieces. I wanted to look like one entire piece. Now you can Mod Podge it, but I just took my purple glue stick, my disappearing purple glue stick, and I put it on there. When I laid it on, I just made sure I rubbed it in so it doesn't come up. And I ripped a little piece for the top little point of the house. So you see, I'm just lining it up and I want it to all look like one cohesive piece. Now, you could use scrapbook paper, whatever you want to for this. I've been just trying to use what I have, and I really haven't bought anything new. So I just been going through everything that I have just to make some decor. Now I over exaggerated with the glue, so I'm just trimming it down, but I'm not getting too close to the house because I am going to grab my sand block, and I do sand it in a downwards motion, and that ribbon just ripped right off. Now these little pieces, I have them from Dollar Tree as well. These are those little wood cutout pieces, and I was going to use a snowflake, but I had a star and I just stained that with my Waverly wax. And I grabbed some twine and I wrapped it around the house, and I did glue the little star to the tippity top of the house. I'm going to burn the twine just to get rid of those fuzzies. Be careful. I should really get a torch lighter. I just keep torturing myself with a little lighter. Okay, so I'm so excited because I do have the Farmers Market 2023 calendar, and I grabbed the little December a piece, and a piece of a wood plank, a square wood plank that I have cut up. Was it a square one or a rectangle one? I'm not even sure, but a little piece of a wood plank, which I'm going to stain in Waverly wax and let it dry. And then I'm going to glue my little calendar piece right on top of my little wood piece. And then I'm going to take that piece and glue it right onto my wood house. And I'm in love with the way that this one came out. So I have this little tin can vase from Hobby Lobby. I know it was under $2. I've been having this forever. And I have all these like leftover greenery berry pieces from Christmas last year. So I'm just picking out of them, and I'm picking out the ones that I want. And I'm just going to place them in there. You do this as your desire. I did take the berries and the pine cones because I did want to give it some color. I didn't want it to be too green. I wanted to make it look Christmassy as well. And you just place everything in there to your taste. I just want to take a second out and say thank you for everybody that has subscribed to my channel. If you like what you're seeing and you're new to my channel, please take a second and subscribe and hit that like button and comment your favorite DIY down below. I messed around with it until I liked the way that it all came together. Once I had the arrangement all together, I have this RedTruck Christmas ribbon in my stash, of course, and it was too like glittery for me, like the edges of it. So I took my scissors, I made a little slit on the glitter part, and then I tore off the glitter part so it could be kind of like the strings of it like fringed. I keep on saying fringe. I'm not even sure if that's the right word, but it could look, I don't know what the word is, but you can see what I'm doing. And with this ribbon, I just made a little bow. My crazy bows that I make, like, they make no sense at all. And once I took that bow and I glued it to the front of our little tin can, and that was it. I love the way this one came out. Okay, I'm grabbing 3 blocks. For those of you that know my channel, know I have these blocks that brought hundreds, and I got for like $1 at Goodwill. And I'm just going to give them all a coat of white paint. Now, what I love about today's projects, they're inexpensive and they're so quick to make. Now, once they were dried, I stacked up all my blocks together and I glued them together. I didn't glue them straight together. I glued them going in like a little bit of a turn in different directions. Okay, so now I grab my marker and I'm just going to draw on some eyes. I'm not a pro at drawing, so I just do my best. And if you don't want to draw it, you could use googly eyes, you could use like little mini buttons, whatever you want to use for your projects, you do you. I also drew a little mouth. I just did like little dots for the mouth. And then I took some orange paint and I made my carrot nose. It would look more like a blob to me. I tried to point it, but I tried my best with it. Now, I made a bigger snowman in my previous video where I put buttons for the I actually took buttons to make for the buttons of him, but I didn't want to use little mini buttons, so I drew it on with my marker, and I did 3 buttons on the front. Now it was time to dress him up. I have these little ornament hats that I picked up from Walmart, I believe, last year, and it has a clip to it. So I just took the clip off and I glued the little top hat on top of our snowman. And then I have this ribbon. I like this one because it's more like a fabric type of ribbon. So this little buffalo check ribbon, and I cut a little piece up and I folded it in half and I wrapped it in between the head and the first block and the second block. And that was it for this one, you guys. I love the way this little snowman came out. I'm going to put this on my tier tray. But what I do love about this is that you could turn this into an ornament for your tree as well. Okay, on to the next one. This fabric was from Dollar Tree last year. And it was perfect to use this because it had the red trucks. And I believe it says, yeah, it says Jingle Bells on it as well. So I'm folding it in half. And once I'm just going to lay it out. Once I fold it in half, I am just going to cut a square piece out of it. Now, there's no perfect measurement to this. I'm just eyeballing everything. I never really measure anything unless it has to do with cutting out vinyl for my Cricut, which I just started doing, unfortunately. Now, when I fold it in half, I fold it again, and then I cut those two pieces out. You could tell I had this fabric stashed away because it's so wrinkled. Now, I wanted all the edges to have that fringe look. Here's that word again, fringe look. So I'm just cutting a piece. I take my scissors, I cut a little piece, and then I rip the rest, the edge of it off. So I'm going to do that to all four sides of each piece of this fabric. Now, once I did that, I line them both pieces up, and I take my hot glue, and I'm going to basically attach the two pieces together with the hot glue. I do use a popsicle stick, basically just to smooth the glue down and make sure it's all put together. I know a lot of people, when they're doing it, they'll glue it and then they'll flip it inside out. I just didn't want to do that. I wanted it to look fringy and not to have the corners to look like they're sewed up. I wanted it this way, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna put glue on all three corners, and then I'm gonna leave the top part open because we are going to fill this up with, you could use polyfill. I have this big unicorn that was left over of my daughter's that basically she's been having for years, and she threw it away. And of course I saved it, so everything that I do, every project that I do that needs polyfill or stuffer, I mean, this unicorn has lasted me forever. Okay, so we're just going to seal the top part of it off the same way that we did with the glue and our popsicle stick. Now, I have it filled up. I just grab it and I just move it around just to spread out that cotton out. And that is it for this one. I also made one using some red buffalo check fabric that I had from Dollar Tree, obviously from last year, the year before. And I wanted these two to go together. So I made the buffalo check one. And once I made both of them, I took both of them and I grab a piece of twine and I just wrap the twine around both of them together. And I make a little twine bow on the front. And that's it. It's so simple, so inexpensive. It cost me nothing this year to make it, but basically $2 for each piece of fabric. Okay, you guys, this has to be, I think, my favorite one. So I have this little wood plaque that I got from Michael's. I mean, these are 99 cents, I think. Like I said, everything that I'm using, I've been had in my stash. So I am going to paint the whole inside of it using my Waverly ink paint, obviously the color black. And I paint the inside, and I even paint the inside borders of it as well. I wanted to stain my frame, so I took my Waverly antique wax and I stained it. Now, yeah, it looks a little bit darker because I had a little bit of Waverly wax left inside the bottle, so I just diluted it with a little bit of water. So I'm just trying to use it out. I am so cheap, I would not let anything go to waste. I know. Sometimes I have to be, especially because I love crafting so much. And it does get pricey if you let it, but it is what it is. So we have it all stained and painted. And I have one of these ornament trucks and these little Christmas trees from Dollar Tree. And I gave the little mini truck a makeover and just painted it all up. I did distress it with some Waverly Antique Wax. I wanted the little truck to look rustic. And I did paint over the trees. I did it like I took some white paint and I painted over the trees and the little bit of top of the truck so I could make it look like snow was falling on the truck and on the trees. Now I have this little mixture of Epsom salt and some faux snow from Dollar Tree, and I have it mixed together in a bowl, and I grabbed some clear glue and I put it at the bottom border of our little picture frame, and I sprinkle on that faux snow and just like shake off the excess of it because I do want this to be a little nighttime snowy scene. Now I attach the tree that came in the pack of trees. I attach that inside the picture frame, and I attach the truck inside the picture frame. Now it's turned out so cute, but I wanted to give it a little something extra. So I grabbed my little detail brush and then some white paint, and I just paint. I make like little dots to make it look like little snowflakes all over inside the sign. I even do like the inside of the borders as well. This one came out so cute. Now you could put this on your shelf, but I'm going to put it on my tier tray. Okay, this one's going to be so quick. I have this heart, this wood heart from Dollar Tree, Crafter Square. And I'm just taking a popsicle stick so I could just draw a straight line across from it. And I am going to take my little miter saw and I'm going to cut it. I'm going to paint our little tree, because it's going to be a tree, with a base coat of white paint. Once I have let it dry, I grab my Waverly Antique Wax because I want to keep in that theme of rustic farmhouse, and I am going to distress the whole entire tree. I'm telling you what I love about today's projects. To me, they look so like high end, but they're so inexpensive to make and so quick and easy to make as well. Once I have my tree distressed, I take this little stump, tree branch, whatever you call this. This is from like those wood pieces from Dollar Tree, like the wood stem pieces from Dollar Tree. And I take it and I just glue it on to the bottom of our tree to be our little tree trunk. And that is it for this one, you guys. I'm thinking about making a couple different more of them. I know I have some more hearts stashed around. Okay, you guys. So these wood planks from Dollar Tree, I take one out. Now, I'm going to give it a coat of Waverly Antique Wax. That's my watered down Waverly Antique Wax. That's why it kind of looks bubbled. Okay, so now I grab this paint stir stick. This has been like through the ringer. I'm telling you, all these things have been so stashed away. And I'm going to cut down 2 pieces. I'm basically just measuring it along the width of the wood plank. So I cut down 2 pieces just using my little miter shears. Just cut them right off, and then I'm going to stain them as well using our Waverly Wax. Okay, so I let them dry it up, so I am going to glue them onto our wood plank. I don't glue them to the edge of it, I just slid them down. I didn't measure it out. I just eyeballed it. And once I have those glued on there, I grab 2 popsicle sticks. These are the ones from Dollar Tree. These are like the larger ones. And I'm basically going to cut 2 popsicle sticks. I think it was like a 45-degree angle. Basically, I wanted to fit in the middle of each of those stir stick pieces that we cut. And the reason why I cut 2 down, because I wanted it to be a little bit more thicker, since the wood stir sticks are thicker. So basically, I'm going to stain them and then glue the 2 pieces one on top of each other. And when I glue the 2 pieces one on top of each other, I glue them right into the middle of each of our paint stir sticks. Now I have this little piece of a garland piece that I had cut down from a bigger garland that I picked up from Dollar Tree. And I'm just basically, I want to trim it all up. I want it to look a little bit more like realistic because I want to make like a little mini wreath. And the more you trim it up and clean it up, the more realistic it looks. So I just attached, like the little ends to it to round it out. And then I just continue to trim it all up. Now, once I have it trimmed all up, I have these little I have a berry pick, and I pick the little berries off of it, and I just glue the berries all around the wreath. Now I wanted to decorate the wreath a little bit more, so I had this little buffalo check ribbon, and I made my little weird bows that I make, and I attached it to the wreath. This is a little barn door we're making. So I took these little like hinge pieces and I made them using my Cricut, and I attached them to our little barn door, and I attached the wreath. I don't know if you guys, I find this so cute. I don't know if you guys see but to me it's like a little barn door with a wreath. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, we're almost there, you guys. So I have these 2 dice from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint them with some black chalk paint. Just to give them, you can leave them like this because we're going to cover them up anyways. But I just wanted to give them all like a base clean coat type thing. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, you guys. But I'm always giving myself extra steps. Okay, so now I have 2 different pieces of scrapbook paper. Now you could use fabric, you could use whatever you want for this. We are going to make like little gift box pieces. So I'm just going to measure my little dice on there, and I'm going to use my little cutter thing, and I'm just going to cut a slice out, like 1 strip out. And this 1 strip, it does cover up the whole dice, so there's so much scrapbook paper left over. So basically what I'm doing, I'm going to just take some glue, and I'm going to attach like the 4 sides first. Now while I'm doing this, I am going to pull a little bit tight. Don't pull too hard because you will rip it. And then I cut out 2 separate pieces to cover up what I call the top and the bottom. Now we have our little box all covered up and all wrapped up. So I grabbed like this, I don't know if it's like burlap, I don't know what it is, but this little ribbon I had in my stash, and I'm just going to tie it around our little box and make it into like a little gift box. And then I do decorate it with some pine cones, and it's a little gift box. Now I feel like these like little accessories that you make, they're perfect to fill up your tier tray, and there's no need to go buy pieces when you can make them yourself. Now I made one of these with the red scrapbook paper, but instead I used some twine to wrap around it. And I took that same fabric that I did with the flower arrangement, and I put it on top. And that is it, you guys. Okay, this is the last one, you guys. Now I have this little canvas. Now this has been used before, so basically why not redo it? So I am just taking my little box cutter knife, and I'm just going to tear off all of the canvas paper fabric part. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Waverly wax. If you see, I'm keeping everything within the theme, and I'm going to stain the whole entire borders and inside of the borders with the Waverly wax. Now I grabbed some mini popsicle sticks. These are the smallest ones that Dollar Tree has. And I just cut them, basically the ends down. And I just cut them down so they could fit our frame. I cut down, I want to say maybe about 15 of them. And once I had them all cut down, I did stain them with the Waverly wax as well. Now I'm just going to start attaching our little popsicle sticks onto our frame. Now I did put them close together. I didn't want a gap in between them. Now I did a good amount of glue on top of it because once that is done, I printed out this little, it says Merry Christmas, a little SVG, you know, I'm not even sure what font it was. I think it was Hey Lovelies. That was the font, Hey Lovelies. And I just printed this out and I just transferred it on to our sign. And then I distressed our borders, our border pieces with some white plaster, with some Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster. But I left the inside. I did not distress like the inside where it says Merry Christmas. And that was it for this one, you guys. A little sign. And it cost me nothing to make. I want to thank you guys for watching and I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And always remember, this world could throw you twists and turns, but always make good choices. To the next one, you guys.